Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Today we're going to be working on Notamons, game about being alchemical horrors beyond comprehension fighting each other in a bloody war. Yeah. Maybe wondering, Notepad, why are we here so late at night? And the answer is I was watching a video. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I was watching the 7.5 hour Crimson Rogue Light Lark video. That I'm compelled. Also, War, yes. You were watching porn. No. I was it was the 7.5 hour Crimson Rogue video. I will show you all. I will show you all. Oh, I'll prove it. This thing is 7.5 fucking hours long. 7.5 fucking hours. I am compelled. What the hell is that about? From what I've been able to glean from it, the book is about a Bella-like character. I say Bella-like character because she doesn't really have a character. Who is the queen of a magical land, but she's been born without powers. Oh, the mythical curse of her people. Oh no. So she's the special character, and they have to go to the Centennial. All the rulers of all the lands have to go to the Centennial to kill each other, I guess. Like, that's really the only explanation I can find, is like they have to like kill one another, and that'll stop the curses of all the lands. It's very young adult, and it's funny him going through it because he's pointing out every single like weird plot hole and things, and it's like none of this shit makes sense. Absolutely none of this makes any sense. I find it very interesting. I'm gonna watch that too, but I have a question. Why is Jump Chain CYOA Pokemon? I don't fucking know. I don't do Jump Chain. I don't do Choose Your Own Adventure. Or do you want to know what Jump Chain is? I mean, I can tell you what Jump Chain is. I can tell you what CYOA is, but Jump Chain will always be one of the most funny fucking things I've ever. Jump Chain is a fascinating thing. I don't know what you would call it. I really have no fucking clue. I have been trying to get like a good definition of Jump Chain forever. But for those who don't know what Jump Chain is a thing on TG. I don't know if it's done elsewhere. But it's a thing on TG in which you string together choose your own adventure things. You string together CYOAs together to get like an outcome, and like every single time it's like, oh, I'm gonna jump chain to this one and do these things, or I'm gonna jump chain to this to do this. Like, you get to keep everything, but sometimes you don't, and sometimes you do. It's very strange. It's one of those things that I like have genuinely like. I wonder if I can find a good jump chain. It's one of those bits like I genuinely have no idea like what the appeal is. Jump chains. Let me see if we can find a. Do we have a good jump? Do we got a good jump chain going on somewhere? Like 95% of this shit's porn, by the way. Not gonna lie to anybody here. Not gonna lie to a single one of you. 95% of this shit is porn. Just porn. Dare I say, like, it's just pornography. I would really, really like to say, like, that it's something more than that, but it really isn't. Like, what is Brutus? Okay, Drive Anon's drive. Let's go to Drive Anon. Like how to do the jump chains and like it's such a bizarre experience because these are what CYOAs are, like traditional CYOAs. Let me see if I can bring up. Like the traditional CYOA usually looks something like this. Like, oh hey, you've got a thing and you've gotta spend. Usually there's a resource or something you gotta spend, and that's how you do the CYOA. That's how you do it. You wanna, here's the demigod one. You got all the demigod ones that you gotta kind of spend and do shit with. Like most of it is also just pornography, and some of these things get really intricate. Like this is let me see. This is 10 pages, by the way. Like this is 10 full images. This is 14 by 4,500. These things aren't small. And people write these. And people go absolutely bonkers for them. I am fascinated by them. Absolutely. Like, fascinated with CYOs. Because they get so intricate sometimes. And it's like, oh, I mostly completed the CYO once before going back. Here's have a bunch of other ones. Here's reward. Like, what the fuck are you on about? I could never get it. Jump Chain really lasts more than like 5 threads. Also, I thought TG was a blue board. It is a blue board. People can post vaguely pornographic images sometimes. It's great. It sounds like character creation with pictures. It goes far. We can go so much higher. Yeah. Yeah, people make fancy YOs. People love choose your own adventure stuff. Now I say it's like it's just porn. When I'm saying it's just porn, it's like this is anime super adventure time, and here's a sexy lady, but she's not as efficient as taking Beelzebub or whatever. But like, let's be honest with ourselves. Y'all want to fuck the succubus? Come on, don't lie. Yeah, it's. Nobody ever even posts in Jump Chain. They make a new thread when it dies at 60 posts. Yeah, there are, like, it doesn't really get that, but it's like the people who are really dedicated to Jump Chain and CYOA stuff, they are the guys who go insane. Solid has posted the Imager link. Everybody. And this is, again, another good example of CYOAs. Of how fucking in-depth they can get. Like, because you gotta remember, this is just being written by some dude. Like, yeah, you get a lot of these things, and I guess you can make an argument that it's like, oh, it's like a writing prompt, and you're supposed to expand on it as a writing prompt. Yeah, that's kind of the idea. Like it's supposed to be built like that. Let me see if we got Jump Chain, we've got CYOA. You also get things like yeah, you also get things like this. Fun fact: if you thought Game of Thrones, it was so sad when Game of Thrones general on TV died, just come on over here, just talk. You know, thread for discussing A Song of Ice and Fire. Possible topics include the original novels, Fire and Blood, Dunk and Egg, general lore theories, characters, artwork, HBO adaptions, and various video games. Notice they don't talk about the game. Because there technically is actually 2 games. There's actually 2 games. There's Miniatures game and the Living Card game. No one will ever talk about them. This is literally just Game of Thrones General 2, occasionally with CK3. Usually CK2. I find it fascinating. TG is a fascinating place. Fuck you, ethical. Oh yeah, then we also have Quest. Quest, let's see what's on. Let's see what's on Quest, everybody. Let's see what productive, let's see, we've got do your best. She's just in a bunny suit quest. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's run a brothel quest. I know, wow, we're really dealing with some, we're dealing with some Kino in here. This is porn. Like this, let's be frank with ourselves here. This is going to be pornography. Idle agency, let's be honest with ourselves. Let's call a spade here. Let's not lie. Yeah. Like, Quest is a fucking mess. Because you see some of these, like, yeah, there's 19 threads of humanity fuck yeah quest. What do you do in that? What do you do in humanity fuck yeah quest? What do you do in Tai Lung quest? There's 28 threads of Tai Lung quest. Why? Why is there that many? There doesn't need to be. There never needs to be, but there always is more. Every single one, there is more. More and more and more. It keeps getting larger and larger and larger. It's very interesting. I've always been interested in like quest stuff, not because of like I'm interested in actually doing this as porn. Not because I'm actually interested in doing anything with it. I'm purely interested in it as like an academic piece of anthropology. Like, I'm questing. Quests are here. Actually, I will go back to quests just for you all. Quests. We'll use that. We'll use that Civil War. How about that? That'll be right here. This is what a quest is very much. As you kind of see here, these are the player realms. Usually, in the idea is that you're taking the role of a character, you're taking the role of a individual, and you're going through an adventure. The quest giver, the quest OP. Let's be frank with ourselves. OP is the one making, writing out the story. You, the players, make these decisions and adventure ho. Some of these can get actually pretty intricate because TG and in turn Quest actually has a dice roller associated with it. But yeah, like you want to have a bunch of different maps. You want to have a bunch of different player realms and everybody's working together and everyone's doing. Quest is a fascinating place. You just described a pen and paper or a form. Yeah, that's kind of the best way to think about it. Is it's an evolution of the form RPG, but it's not. Usually the idea is you're not actually playing. Everyone is usually not playing a different character. You are the entire thread, possibly dozens of people are playing a singular character, and there's like votes and stuff like that. I think a more consistent way of thinking about it, if you remember Twitch Plays Pokemon, it's something like that. That's actually a pretty good example of it. But some of them can get pretty intricate, and people do. That sounds like a schizophrenic hellscape. They can be a little bit schizophrenic. I'll be the first one to say it. I've seen the good ones, because you get things like Nerve Bridge Commander. I loved Nerve Bridge Commander. I thought that was really cool. Her thing with like Nerve Bridge Commander that was interesting, there was a story going on, and it was like the people invested had to make rolls, and it was like, let's try to do it. And usually it's if you've ever heard of Homestuck, it's like Homestuck. That's actually another very good example of early Homestuck, I should say. It's like, hey, you do a thing. What does the community? Yeah, what does the community say early on? What does the community, say? Okay, some of these quests are fetish stuff. Yeah, that was one of the reasons they got exiled to Quest in particular. And Quest is still a blue board, but it's a lot less carefully moderated. Apparently TG and Quest do share mods for some reason. Yeah, it's, wait, you mean you're... Like using Quest to introduce and run other TR. People do. People have made really intricate systems on Quest, by the way, Lubu. People have made really intricate versions of it just because they can, and they're usually very autistic. But again, what I've noticed is like it's usually like either the simplest ideas or it's like lolly dungeon keeper fucking quest, and you're looking at it, you're like, what the fuck? No. That's why I have to say I'm proud of us to start 20 minutes ago. Nobody's done nothing. TG was fucking unusable when quests were allowed on TG. Yeah, it was bad there for a while. I was unaware TG had mods. Yes, TG does have mods. You can occasionally, what's PNP? Pen and paper. You can usually find the mods anytime there's like something directly bad, but they are very lax. That's one thing you got to remember about TG mods. They are very lax. Dude, you look at the archive. Yeah, it's... The thing is, quests needed to go. That's the thing. That's like one of the things. Quests needed to go. Because the thing is, quests used to be everywhere on 4chan. They used to be on every board, technically. And it's always funny anytime you see, you can usually tell a new friend pretty easily. It's like, well, why don't we give quests to every board? And if you want to run an anime quest, you run it on A. You want to run a video quest, you run it on V. And because that was the case for a while, and it just didn't fucking work. It did not work at all. Never did. And so all of them kind of got moved over to TG because traditional games, it's a forum game effectively. And people bring up things like Ruby Quest, people bring up, again, things like Nerve Bridge Commander. People bring up a lot of these different kinds of games, like these quests, and be like, no, they were really good. They were not. There were a lot of bad quests, and the people claim like, oh, well, they weren't that bad. There weren't that many quests, and like there were a lot of quests. And some of them were false flags. I'm not going to lie. Some of them, probably a good chunk of them were false flags. But there were also a couple of them that were Lolly Dungeon Keeper quest, number 7,886. And people would do post-degenerate shit. But we also have to remember there was Smut. It was, what was it? Smut Saturdays in TG, which we would just flagrantly break the rules. Like, that porn would literally just be posted constantly. Nerve Bridge Commander. It was an Evangelion quest. It was very high production. The guy running it was actually an artist, and he would do like very intricate little things with it. It was very interesting. You can Google it. But yeah, no, they needed to go. And I think the way that it was done wasn't ideal. I think they could have been done a lot better, you're told. But honestly, we'll see Saturdays most of the time. I see sneak porn wherever they could. Yeah, that was kind of like one of the reasons why they kind of went the way of the dodo, because it was just Saturdays. But then it was Saturday and Sundays, and then it was Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day of the week. And it was like, no more. You don't get to have a nice thing. I should not. I should not have checked what D was. I regret that. Why did you do that to yourself, Archer? Oh, Archer, you beautiful summer child. I have been what's D by the way? Alternative hentai. D is alternative hentai. Don't go there. Oh, that's not so bad. It can get pretty weird. D is one of those places, like, you go and you're like, haha, and then you look at it like, oh, Jesus. ACO is no better than D, by the way. I'm gonna say that right now. ACO fucking cursed land. Yeah, you get a lot of weird shit there. Reminding me about the Adventure Time thing. That's what happened with Shug for a very long time. Shug would get so bad. Shug would get so bad that it would have to get exiled to trash constantly. Like, the second the bomb was over, Shug went to trash again. And I was there multiple times when the ship was going down, because the millisecond it was done, the pornography would flow. And it wasn't normal porn. Oh, no, no, no. It was degenerate shit. And it's like, we are the crystal of porn. You ever seen the succubus threads on X? I've never really been on X. X was never really my thing. It's one of those things, like, you can usually get, like, the most bizarre conversations you will have will be on porn board. I'm not gonna lie. Porn boards, you will get some of the most sophisticated conversations about human beings. Because half the people are in, you know, just sage time. You know, some people are just vibing. Like, they know it's Jover. Everyone's fucked up here. Don't go next right now. It has a giant dick. One of the girls I dated kept telling me she was a succubus. Yeah, she probably wanted to eat you. I mean, she's a literal probable cannibal. Like, no. Oh, I believed very, very late. She apparently believed this. Yeah, no, yeah, some women are really a bit. A month ago, Kay is named after Makoto Kusanagi. Yeah, I can see that. Remember, ethical. 4chan's an anime board. It always will be an anime board. Out here. You mean Motoko Kusanagi? Yeah, I'm not surprised. Gun porn is... Well, that's like how you get, like, the AK. Then why does TG hate weebs? TG does not hate weebs. They hate aggressive weebs. The big thing is this is like a fundamental thing, is like 4chan is fundamentally an anime place. Like anime does have a part of the culture in anywhere you go. Weebs delenda s. People have tried to it's really funny. People really try to make like oh, 4chan without the weebs. I'm like, this doesn't work. Like, using wise vibe to get a T. K is a magical place, Lubu. That's like one of the funny things that you must know. K is a magical place. It's me. There are like 15 boards for anime. Yes, there are. Because it's an anime board. Ethical, do you know how fast A is? Do you understand how fast A is? A is insanely fast. If it's a seasonal anime, there will be 4 threads. There will be 4 threads daily. And I mean maxed. Like, easy. 4 threads max. Shit moves at light speed, especially if it's a good season. If it's a good season, shit goes fast. And let me post it fit in peace. No, because the thing is, people then bring the fit anime in there, and then it's like, it's Jover, the dumbbell. You know, oh, shut up and lift some dumbbells or whatever. Being like, yeah, board is on. No, PG doesn't bother numbering them anymore. The slowest board is the Naruto General. Danburo ya na Danburo non kilometro. There's another one where it's like literally just I lift like literally Gyaru lifts dumbbells. Fuck it. Does he need to be anime about me? Just be JoJo or DBZ shit. Hell yeah. I remember when the Goku diet was on there. Dumbbell Girl manga is now making manga. Yeah, I did see that. That shit is gonna spike numbers. People are gonna want to go to boxing clubs, being like, "Hey man, why'd you join boxing club?" Oh, you know, I just want to work out a little bit, get a good right hook in there. You know, lock screen being, lock screen being girl. That guy has made some serious. That's arguably worse, Ethical. That's arguably worse. Oh, Jesus. Wait. People, the thing is, TG is interesting when it comes to games that aren't very certain kinds. No. Pretty much anything that is not a very dedicated game, doesn't have a fan base already, doesn't have something like that, it's usually not going to get a thread. Sword World will never get a thread. I can guarantee you, Sword World will never get a thread. JTRPG usually gets a thread every now and again, but there kind of needs to be something out there. Oh, the Monster Girl threads got shot. I was there when they got shot. I was there in Monster Girl world building. I was there. I was in the trenches. I was there. I saw it all. I knew it. Election tours ruined everything, right? Monster Girl, yeah, MGW. I don't even think. I've told this story about MGW. I've told this story about MGW before. What occurred there, I would say it's about a year and a half ago now, it was stagnating for a while there. Nobody was really working on anything. I would pop in every now and again and answer questions about MGA. Sometimes just brainstorm with people who needed help and things. I don't know, I liked it. They were nice people every now and again. But for a while there were, I would say, like 4 major projects. It was Monster Girl Adventures, my game. It was done. I didn't want to touch it anymore. There was Monster Girl Encyclopedia Warhammer Fantasy, in which a guy rewrote the entirety of 2nd edition Warhammer Fantasy role-playing to be Monster Girl Encyclopedia based. And when I say rewrote the entirety of Warhammer Fantasy roleplay 2nd edition to Monster Girl Encyclopedia, I am not lying. He literally rewrote the entirety of the lore. He rewrote the entirety of the lore, the entirety of the game, to make it Monster Girl Encyclopedia. Can we still find that game? I would really like to say it was good. It was not. It was a Google Doc. It never really got much farther than that. You got a link. If you find MGW, it'll be one of the first ones up there. Be finished writing his thing. Yeah, that actually happened, by the way. That was actually a funny thing what happened. And he said he didn't like 4E. And he didn't want to do it and he wasn't going to convert anything to 4E. Because then he started, like, rewriting the lore pretty extensively for it. That was one thing. Then he got really mad at people because like nobody he wanted to literally make his own. I'm not lying when I say this. He wanted to make his own video game. Because originally he wanted to mod Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay to do it, but he couldn't because that's not allowed on the workshop. So what he did though, the guy was delusional a little bit. Yeah, that was the second major project. The third one was kind of like a dungeon world thing. People would add on to every now and again. Yeah, nothing really happened with that one. Like it would pop up. No, it was actually it'd be Zemitzel Fag. Zemitzel, that was the third one. Zemitzel was a fascinating duck because he did not write games. He wrote lore, and he would have this entire grandiose things of lore that went nowhere, and it was very weird to write. Those are the major three. Now, over time, there was another one. There was one named Enslaved Anon. Enslaved Anon had two settings. Enslaved Anon had two very weird settings. Now, I'm not squeamish. Let's just call a spade here. I am not a squeamish person. Some things kind of, like that's kind of disgusting, but I'm like, alright, I can get with it. I will not lie when I say Enslaved Anon was some of the worst, most uncomfortable writing I have ever read. Not because it was like graphic, not because it was weird, like it was just outright uncomfortable. Because it was all about slavery. All about monster girls being enslaved and then trying to get reformed to be happier. That was the entire idea. That was the entire pitch. And you might be saying, oh, that's fine. No, but he would go like these long-winded bits and pieces. We thought it was a slave fetish for a while but then we determined over time that it wasn't that. No. It was a suffering fetish. That's what he wanted. He wanted suffering. Because nothing was happy. Everything was terrible. And not a single character, and he would only post like these little, he would post dozens of times per thread. Dozens, like a third of a thread would almost be dedicated to him at some points. And he would just talk. He wouldn't talk about anything, he would just talk. And sometimes he would post like lore, quote unquote, snippets. But the lore wasn't really anything. And then he would like write a section, talk some more, finish writing the section. And then there was another setting he would like occasionally go on to, which was like there was like an alien girl who it was things like, oh, she's this unlovable creature that everyone hates and she's just awful and terrible, and he would like add things to make her life more miserable. It's like, what the fuck are you smoking? Then he started threatening to kill himself. Then he had a mental breakdown at one point, mid-thread, by the way. He had a mental breakdown. People started leaving kind of en masse. Yeah, that was just kind of a mess. That was kind of just a fucking... That was generally one of the most uncomfortable situations I've ever had, and that's why I actually, like... if anyone's ever seen, the MGA stuff, I actually had to change around the actual links and things. I changed around the links because I genuinely did not want to be associated with the thread anymore. I never even posted any of like, oh, I've updated anything or in that when it was still kind of like in its death throes every now and again. Yeah, it was a rough experience. When you get like 4 people like trying to talk this guy down from killing himself mid-thread, it's like, you know what? Maybe I'm not qualified for this. Like, I'm not. I need to go outside. Let's see. Why aren't you fucking normal? What did I do to you? Oop. Oh, there were people saying that. To give you an idea, McDrewsalt, by the end of it, I was saying it. I was just sick of it. I'm just like, yeah, do it. Come on, fucking kill yourself. Do it. Do it. Come on. Spare us this. You know, you've given up hope when I am the one being like, yeah, just you should kill yourself now. You know, you've lost the plot a little. Because I've actually been debating about Notamons here. I'm gonna get back on track a little. One of the things I've been debating on is the idea of the map. I've been actually having some issues with the map. I've got the general rule of thumb for sizes down pat. They're not perfect, but it'll do for my purposes. One of the things though is I've been having doubts about how to do the map. Because currently the map is actually an open grid, which is to say it's just a grid. You just make a standard battle map. You have some Pokemans on the map, and you start beating the shit out of each other. I debated on keeping it that way, but then I kind of shifted things around, and then I'm like, do I want to go with a structured method of combat? Do I want to actually have like a back and forth method? That didn't seem right. Do I want to use a... One of the things that confuses me is when writing sounds like a conversation instead of instructions. What does that mean? How do I best want to word that? Roll 1d6 when you need to make an attack check. Okay. Alright, when you're making an attack check, when I'm hitting you with a sword, you're going to roll 1d6. The difference is in more instructions is very direct. This is what you need to do. X, Y, to Z. More conversational is me explaining it to you as a human being. Instructions should almost be bullet points in some cases, while conversation should be a little bit more like back and forth. To give you an idea, most of my writing is instruction based, but then you have things like this where it's like my side notes are very conversational. Being a bit blunt here, but if you take a -4 for +4 goop, you do not gain that goop. You're gonna just redistribute it elsewhere. Keep this in mind. Applying your trait discounts, you cannot gain anything from these accounts, but only cost. That's conversational. I'm telling you something that you need to know. One of the other things that I was debating on with the map in general was using the Cabaflower, otherwise known as the Alchemical Tree of Life map I used previously in Cruelty Squad. Didn't really think that would work properly because the issue that I keep running into, fun fact, the issue that I keep one of the larger issues I keep running into is two things, in fact. One, legs. You know, legs. are fairly important, and I would like to be able to continue using my legs to do things. We also have swing down here. Yeah, movement abilities, which is kind of the idea of being able to bounce, being able to charge. Generally speaking, you need to actually be able to move, which isn't even factoring in directional things. Which I didn't know how to do this properly. Not going to lie, I've been trying and debating and trying to figure out like an ideal way of doing this to kind of keep the both worlds, and the answer is pretty simply that there isn't a there really isn't a good way of doing it. Perfectly frank with you. Kind of Z, like to get this the way that I don't know, to do this, to keep all of this, I need to keep the grid. Unless I rewrite everything. Because if I take away the grid, vast majority of movement options are going to be entirely, mind you, redundant. Because I'm going to ask a question here real fast. You are a Pikachu. Okay, you're a Pikachu. So this thing over here is a flying monster abomination. Absolutely nothing in the Pokemon RPG video game actually differentiates it just not being next to you. That's just not really a thing in that game. It's very abstracted combat. You just smack each other. The fact that he is a flying type is more important than anything else. That's how you get. Now, I was like, alright, this isn't quite working as necessary. So I want to keep that. If I do the abstracted method, it's going to have to be very abstracted. I thought initially about doing zones, but then it's just like, wait, if we just do zones, how big are the zones? If the zones are too small, why not just have it a grid? Got to add another axis to the grid. No. Fun fact, yeah, not even like Z levels or anything like that. That's an entire different set of issues. Not even, I use flight as an example, but it's the idea of you cannot, I don't know, in the Pokemon games, you cannot keep your distance. That is an impossibility in those games. You are not able to keep your distance. Hey, that thing's a giant brick shithouse. I have range on him. I'm going to just not be next to him. That's just not a thing you can do. That's just calling a spade a fucking spade. Now, interestingly enough, if I do the zone method, that's kind of getting... Is there a way to make movement matter in abstracted movement? I've been trying to reconcile my hatred of expecting GMs to find or draw a map with my desire to have tactical movement. Unless you do something in the vein of Magical Angry, but if you do something in the vein of Magical Angry, then that's just grid combat with extra steps. Usually, if you want to do something like that, just ignore the game system since that's favorite toward a complicated turn system that you have to write. One of the things about that in particular for Assault is you would need to effectively change how the battle map is set up. Using an example of a video I just put out, Z&Z, Zombies and Ziggurats. Zombies and Ziggurats effectively uses the darkest dungeon method of literally linear combat. You stand in a line, you smack each other, that's how it goes. Doesn't really matter what the field looks like, you just have that. It's a very structured way of doing things. You just ignore the game system. That's since that's favored toward a complicated turn system that you have to write. Yeah. Congratulations, Sean. You've realized that I have to write a game. In other brilliant news, the sky is up. Cool. I'm not being mean. I don't quite know what you're trying to imply here. But yeah, I want to keep everything in here because, again, if I just remove that, suddenly movement options don't matter. I'm just going to go with the cheapest movement option because, like, why would I ever want to select anything other than just a simple one? I don't want to remove option as much. Unless it's just like, oh, you can move. I'm like, that's not really a fun option. That's just a binary A or B. That's something I want to avoid. I want to avoid binary, just you have a thing, you don't have a thing, and that being the only option. Do the current grid-based thing, because otherwise you would be literally writing a Pokemon game. I was concerned you were actually considering. I flirted with it. The problem is twofold. There's twofold problems. One, you have 3 party members. Each of them are going to have, let's say, minimum 1 Notamon on the field. Currently, that is 6 actors on your side of the field. In an abstracted method like Pokemon, that just doesn't work. Because it's always been a factor in Notamon that when in doubt, you fucking stab the creator. You rush them down. You see, man, this guy is tearing up our fucking front line. We're not doing too hot. Sneak the tiny little rat monster we have behind him, have him jump on his throat and explode. Oh no, my little rat monster's dead. He also is, his head is also splattered across the continent. Like, cool, we win. We have won. Good job, team. Like, that's always been a factor in Notamon, is murdering the creator. And I always want to continue that to be a factor in Notamon. Hence why keeping the grid seemed important, but I know fundamentally the grid does not function. Because the grid isn't as dictated. The only solution that I've come up with, is restrict the grid size. What do I mean by that? It is quite literally restricting the grid size. You, instead of having a completely open grid, you can put as much as you want in there. It is going to be cut down to size effectively. You are going to have meta will be walkie-talkies and standing several kilometers from combat effectively, and I don't want that. Effectively, what it is going to be is probably I'm leaning toward a 9x9 grid, but I might just make it an 8x8 grid, because you can then use a chessboard. By using 8x8 grid, you can just use a chessboard for things. I get kind of the best of both worlds. The only issue that I currently am running into with that is speed. Speed's an issue. And I say speed's an issue because being able to, like, if you really pay attention to chess, if you've ever played chess before, certain pieces can move a very long distance. But and you can cover the entire field in a single turn, possibly. Your queen, if she is able to cross the entire field. Pokemon moment as always. For a while there, I was debating on maybe honest to God, maybe an ATB system. I was debating it. It was there. But then I'm like, no, that would be far, far too complicated to do that properly. The only way I currently have simultaneous turns, that would not be that is the incorrect answer. That is the absolute incorrect answer. What I've been thinking about right now is the amount of tiles you can effectively. That's the thing. Because I need to be able to restrict the number of movement points any character can do at any time. Unless they buy it, of course. That's always the important thing. People toss stuff at each other during the other player's turn, see if you get hit or not. Use that as turn orders. Good lord, why have I asked for 10 computers and 2 lads, only 3 of those, and I fucked something out to change the each of the 20 fucking computers now. If you get hit, you lose your turn. We're not playing a kinetic game, unfortunately. This still needs to be entertaining to play. The foreign concept to some, I believe. So if we go up here, what I was thinking about doing is changing how the movement works up here and doing something more along the line of kind of like, this is like going to be your base movement. Like, this is just your base movement speed, how far you are actually able to go. And you may be wondering, wow, base movement of 0 sounds really bad. And the answer is, yeah, it is really bad. You're a big lumbering piece of shit. You need to get actual legs to move. But compensates what I was going to do is do something along the idea of this. Pretty much the mass being how many actual squares you are taking up. Being huge, being an actual huge beast of burden, means you are taking up 2 squares. Which doesn't seem like a lot, but 2 squares is 2 squares on a chessboard. You're taking up a significant chunk of the actual field already. And your movement is going to go from you effectively. I'm still debating this. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. I kind of need to get there. So what I'm going to do is do the only gamer move I can and casually put a little red mark here and not think about it. Cool. Didn't really think of anything for the forums. I had nothing. Absolutely nothing of how to do this correctly. Nothing came to mind. Nothing actually worked. So, we're keeping it as this. Ta-da! Hallelujah, hallelujah. Let's see, not unexpected survive injury and is measured in pain tolerance, and armor. Pain tolerant. Intolerance with the inability to feel or register the pain they are currently feeling. Should it reach 0, the Notamons' body begins to collapse. Shouldn't reach the other. The Notamons body begins collapsing upon itself as essential organs shut down, and the group comprised of breaks apart to its form. Armor is the plating, and protect vital damage from blows and protect vital parts of the body. Bonus pain tolerance, baseline pain tolerance, bonus pain tolerance. Pain tolerance can be reduced to lower the maximum lower the let's see, defensive ability of the Notamon, while armor being reduced to the negatives will refund goop as is detected but the Notamon will take additional damage equal to armor's plan. If people are chatting, apologies if I'm not responding right away. I'm focused right. So, if good gracious. Let's see. Spends edition. Best timers. Why move? You're gonna be a gigantic cannon, mass murder everyone. What are you gonna be a gigantic cannon? Have a good night. Good luck with your goop. Yes, bonus pain. How do you work on stuff while feeling drowsy? I'm on new temporary meds. I don't. Normally I have to kickstart my body to make sure that it keeps going properly. Because I have a very bad tendency of not sleeping correctly. And you get used to it after a while. You just gotta get in the right mindset. You just gotta keep working, because if you stop working, things stop working. All we are is energy. Don't you dare fucking god fucking damn it. Oh. Okay, 5, 10, 15, 20. This is effectively like just damage reduction. That's why it's actually like pretty expensive, all things considering. It is raw damage reduction. So I think keeping it like this should be, if we want to bump it up, no, 5, 10, 15, 20. I mean, if we want to do something more along the idea, 4, 4, 8, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. We can, it'd be lowering the value, get half as much refunded back. A little bit cheaper to understand, a little bit get, so we're going to be doing, this is going to be your raw pain tolerance, this is your health. If we assume this is your baseline, pain tolerance just 0, plus 0, you're getting no additional pain tolerance. It's going to cost you 0. If we increase it just completely linear, you're just going to be raw increasing your health by a certain, we can do that. If we keep the same costs, but you know what, we can probably make this the 5. Let's increase it by 3. Actually, increase it by 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a little bit more expensive going up the track, but like that first buy is a little bit cheaper, a little bit easier to get. So, but if we do this, vitals. If a Notamon is reduced to negative pain tolerance, actually to negative 0, 0 actually 0 or negative pain tolerance. Pain tolerance, when summoned, it will die. When summoned, it will immediately die. It will immediately die, probably cursing. It's wretched. It's wretched. Resistance. Digital art is my passion. It is not. Digital art is not my passion. Let's actually, -3, -6, -9, -20. A little bit more consistent gains by reducing health, but your health is also, as of right now, 30. You want the absolute hardiest baseline character possible. You're gonna have to be playing a huge mechanical entity. And at negative, for refunding, let's see, for refunding not even a quarter, mind you, of the amount of tolerance you're going to be getting out of that, you're not going to be able to get anything out of it by reducing it that far. You will have a being that can get hit very easily, but also just die. Like, it'll just die. Which leads to... Oh, yeah. Oh. Okay. There we go. Pain tolerance. Can I get people understanding of how this works? This fit. We're gonna be able to fit everything in here unless. Not. Looks a little janky, but I don't know how to do this, so keeping it like this. Annoyed that it seems yeah, because Vampire the Masquerade's really fucking good at what it does. That's the issue. None. Notamon are not intelligent creatures. Yeah, at best is an extension of their creator's will, but instead of let's see. At best, an automaton is an extension of their creator's will. An automaton crafted to specification. Let's see, an automaton crafted to specification to carry out singular orders at their behest. Some creators opt to automate the process. Automated understanding is the complex process allowing a Notamon to take free action during their creator's turn if they are not chosen to act. They perform the action at the end of the creator's action, at the end of the creator's turn. But if they are unable to perform their duty, they will continue to stand stalwart and doing nothing. Some of these automated understandings allow the Notamon to perform more passive functions that serve little in the face of combat. Let's see. Let an Notamon perform more passive functions, little in the face of combat. For more passive function. Okay. Like anything in range on the creator's turn. Companion. Notamon responds to their name and has limited free will, acting as a pet to the creator and can be given some orders. Flee. The Notamon will flee battle if they take over half their health, half their tolerance in battle. I'm going to reduce the cost of these down a little bit. Some of these are a little bit expensive. I'm going to keep you at about 50 though. Special moves. Will use their moves if they are able to. We're going to be then doing equipment load. Actually, we can do. Reminds me. Ventus intelligent. The Notamon has a limited intelligence. Has a limited intelligence. Let's see. They understand they understand and can speak the creator's languages. Let's see. They understand and can speak the creator's language. Deviancy is set. Why are you the way you fucking are? Notamon has. Yeah, there's a few games that say, oh, it's a spooky thing. Oh no. People, well, because spooky thing is kind of a universal thing that like everyone can kind of understand, I think. Like, yeah, vampires are scary. We don't want to do that. We want to add in equipment load, which is 30. The Notamon is able to equip and use basic weapons and armors without trying to tear them off body. Without, it will use basic weapons and armor. Let's see, able to equip and use basic armor. What would be some other things for automated understanding? How do I want to? Let's see. Can use equipment. What else can we do? And we can do is able to process different orders with different criteria at the same time. When actually, if a hostile opens the door, spit poison at them, but everyone here is an ally and should not target it. They don't understand. That's gonna be kind of like one of the things is like they wouldn't really be able to understand like more complex. This allows you to bring out a complex order. Actually, Notamon by default can understand one simple order at a time. Let's see, can understand one simple order at a time. Often these are follow me, or attack that, during off times. However, anything more complicated than go here, do that, will require higher higher level thinking. I will attempt to move. Actually, Lee is 35, so Notamon will attempt to move and recover recover the creator. And Notamon will attempt to move and recover the creator should they be injured. Should they be injured? I'll go here and we'll kind of higher level thinking. Let's see, Notamon can always be ordered to kill themselves for recycling purposes. For recycling. Actually, not the right to do this. Actually, no, Notamon are keyed. Notamon are keyed to their creator. Notamon are keyed to their creator, which does allow the creator, finer control over them. This does include remotely shutting down organs and brain function. Remotely shutting down organs to instantly kill a Notamon. Instantly kill one of their Notamon for purposes. There we go. It's kind of like, yeah, you need to have like a little bit more of a deeper understanding of like, yeah, they can't really do much by themselves, but like, you do have control over them. So if you do want to like just kill one of them, like, yeah, you can just have them die. Like, sorry, you just cool, you're dead. Whoops. Okay, so automated understanding. I could probably put automated understanding last. Because here we do attributes, we go into size, we then talk about shapes and forms. I think size is a little bit more important. It's going to lead to limbs and exterior parts. Limb is self-explanatory. It's a set of arms or legs that allow not one to perform actions using their arms or legs. Exterior part. Limbs form the active parts of the Notamon form, allowing them to interact and deal with the world and propel themselves without much effort. Each set of limbs has two. Actually, no. Each limb is a set of each one is a set of two. Each limb is a set of two, allowing the creator to feel comfortable allowing the creator to feel more comfortable Hmm. Purchasing metrically. Purchasing symmetric. How these purchasing symmetrically. Oh, often a Notamon can only Notamon's form. Yep. Notamon's shape will dictate. Actually, Notamon's traditional Notamon body can only properly sustain one set of arm and leg limbs, but additional types of fine. As their internal biology demands it. However, a limb tax, how do I want to word the limb tax? However, if the creator wishes to have additional types of limbs attached to their creation. However, if a creator wishes to have additional types of limbs attached to their Notamon, they will pay an additional goop cost. They'll pay an additional goop cost of refer. Additional types of limbs attached to their Notamon, they'll pay an additional goop cost in changing the bone structure to account for. The effects of different limbs do stack, but multiple same type do not. Yep, so arms. Yeah, let's see how do I want. Basic arms. You have arms. That's the useful thing. You have arms that do things. Dexterity arm. Your speed increases by 1. Let's put you at grapple arms. Grappling is going to be, we'll keep grappling in there. Melee arms, strike damage +2. I guess we'll keep strike damage +2 in there. Which striking, it's gonna be striking, throwing arms. Actually, what we can probably do is we can scrap. We scrap you. Put you up with dexterity arms. We scrap throwing arms. Wing arms. You have wings. You don't have hands anymore, but you have wings. Mm-hmm. Rippers. Bat wings, flabby arms, comes from your patient. Bat wings, or bat wing. What are arm wings? Bingo wings. Bingo wings. They are called bingo wings. Bat wings turn to excessive skin spine of the upper arm along the tricep. Oh god, okay, they're not. We want to do bat wing, like actually bat wings. What would you refer to these things as? Bat wing term, like, do they actually have a like legitimate term to them? Just bat wing. Let's call them winged. Standards. Dexterity arms. What we can probably do is this would be daddies. Let's think. In theory, we could just have like just another. We could just have another one. Like actually, right damage actually has a thing we're going to be implying. I mean, let's see. Do we have any? You'd be amazed. You'd be amazed what like very specific things have like a weird term associated with them. It's like it's I always find that interesting anytime you find like, oh, that's just a really weird like very specific term for this. I find them every now and again. Actually, you know, speaking about knuckle walking arm. This remains from walking. There's actually a very specific term for this. What is the term? Actually, there's like a weird term for it. What is it? Actually, I know where I can go. I can go to my Endless Adventures game. But I have like a weird amount of terms and mutations to fuck around with because I really, really need to have all that. Species creation. Emma, Berserker, Bleeding the Blind, Conveyor, Diff, and Dust Attune, Dust Construct, Every Night, Essential Organs, Kinshima, absolutely fucking hideous. Kinshima is actually a very funny word. Wings. Actually, hello, Project Grug. Grug speak. No, you don't need to make noises. Blunt dopamine, Grug on Grug violence, movement, active movement. Effectively, primates are adapted to movement. Fence. Oh, I guess it just doesn't have that term. I could have swore there was a fucking term for this. Going insane. I am actually going insane. Yeah, like literally like scientific terms and shit like that. Want to have that those gorilla arms? You should go for knuckle walkers. Actually, steadies are pretty good. Grappling has just a bonus to things. If we want to do grappling, movement. Oh, combat's pretty fucking easy. Like one of strike, bite. I guess we tackling. So this would be strike damage severity goes up by 1, range damage severity goes up by 1. Want to do because having hands effectively allows you to grip onto objects. That's like a thing that should be, you know, kind of like a factor in life. It's like, yeah, you have actually like arms that allow you to grip on the thing. Actually, integrated combat now. Actually, no. Integrated combat limb, goop we're going to say that's going to be a goop cost of... We're going to say, I'm going to bring that down to this. I'm going to bring you down a little. Integrated combat link, though. They're going to have a limb tax of 10. Hands, no. But they're going to their strike damage. Strike damage plus 1. What I should do is strike severity, and then we do yeah. Combat. Go. Strike damage, that means you're increasing the die value. Strike severity is increasing the number of die. So having really over-muscled and integrated combat limbs quite literally means that you're adding an entire new set of fucking limbs to hit your enemies better. That's kind of the idea behind it. More efficiently. Right here. So limbs, legs. Let's agility legs. Agility legs, we're going to bring movement down to 2. Bouncers, we're going to bring bouncers to 0. Combat legs, going down to 0. Strike severity, plus 1. Ignore terrain penalty. Yes, we're going to do that. Agility legs, actually, we're just going to give you a plus 1 on it. We're going to give you a plus 2 on it. The walker legs are going to give you a plus 1. Pretty consistent. Wigglers cannot be knocked down. They're only going to give you a movement. They're going to give you a movement of 1. Bouncers are going to give you a movement. Let's give you bouncers an additional movement of... Combat legs are quite literally like... It's you having things attached to your arm, your legs to allow you to beat the shit out of your enemy. Like, let's just call a spade. Just look at the term in German. They have a word for everything. I mean, they have a word for throwing man out a window. That's Czech, I believe. Actually, I should say, Actually, starting parts, 2 sets of legs. Two free limbs. You need to actually like retrofit it a here. Combat legs, floater. Walkers are going to go down. Bouncers are going to go down in price. Agility legs are going to go down in price. Combat legs are not. Floaters are going to stay at their same price. Stay there. Wigglers are going to go 12. Hello, Wigglers. Tentacles are going to increase up to... we're going to increase this a little bit. Mouth. You have no mouth and you must scream. An herbivore mouth. Doesn't really mean anything. Carnivore mouth have bite damage. Bite severity. Bite severity. Bite severity plus 2. Human mouth capable of speech. Gaping maw plus 2. Herbivore. What would an herbivore? What would be a... Actually, what we can do is we can just do bite severity plus 1. That's all it is. You're paying double the price, but... actually, if I want to be efficient about things, bite severity plus 1. bite damage plus. So what that's going to do is you're going to take a bite that would normally do like d6, like 2d6 damage, and now you're going to be doing 3d8 damage with it. Herbivore mouth just means you get this, but again, why do you need a mouth if you don't plan on biting things? Easy enough to understand. Dexterity, let's call it human. Gaping maw, I think is appropriate there. We want this to be like you are biting down and like tearing into flesh. That's the scary thing here. Like these things are kind of like the most reliable, but that actually brings up, maybe we do like a 10, do another 1030, then we do like a bite severity plus 2, which allows another 1030, which we bite severity, we do bite damage plus 2. So we have no mouth. We want to do Ripper, that means you're just trying to do as much damage as rapidly as possible. Damage is you're trying to maximize the amount of pain you are doing with, even if you don't have a lot. Bite damage plus 2 is bringing a d6 up to a d10. Bite severity to is bringing up a 2d6 to a 4d6. Ripper versus I guess that would be, I guess that's what you refer to it as. Yeah, defenestration. Dexterity, dexterous. I wonder if there's a term with types of tails. What type of animal is tails? No, not that. What is a tail? What do we have any special references to what tails are? Not really. This isn't really a thing. Let me see. Appendage. Vertebrates. I mean, I guess there's no like very specific. I guess there's no really specific term for like types of tails. Like limb tail, like dexterous, which would be limbed. Combat. We'll call this a yeah, we'll call it tail. Like you just want to throw a tail on your thing. Yeah, you can. It doesn't do much of anything, but yeah, having a limb tax. Unless we change up the count. That might be a thing we have to do. Yeah, we have to kind of consider here a little bit. Limbed generally, let's bring that down. Let's actually, let's keep that up there. Dexterous, we bring this down to 8. Combat, we bring that down to 8. Gunner, we bring that to 8. Which we're going to do strike damage. We're going to do strike damage plus 1. Range damage plus 1. Simple. Please. Oh, baby. Simple and clean. Vestigial. Basic. That's Raptor. Endurance. Height potential. Move and melee attack. What the fuck does this mean? I'm gonna mark that real fast. Okay, there's some issues here that we're gonna have to worry about later, but let's clean some other things up. Prehensile would effectively be limbed. Tails aren't for stability. Good night. Tails aren't for stability. There aren't really anything like stability rolls. That's kind of the issue. That just isn't really a thing in the game. Not like, oh, well, if you get a tail, you get bonuses to staying upright. Like, that's not really a thing in this game. So yeah, that'll have to be something to kind of think about a little bit. Let's see, senses. Sight or hearing. Sight dictates the perception range. Perception range. Sight dictates the perception range directly in front of the Notamon. Directly in front of the Notamon. Them to react to threats. And aim out their enemy. Aim at their enemies. Hearing dictates the perception rate. Perception range around the Notamon in a quote circle. In a circle. Around a circle, allowing even blind Notamon to defend themselves. Senses. Go. Hearing is a radius. Blind nearsighted, so we need to change the perception range to. We're going to assume the board's going to be 8x8 effectively, so it's going to be 2, 4, 6. We do 2, 4, 6, 8. 2468 literally does mean you're covering the entire board effectively, but if yeah, you're covering the entire board because you're only really going to be using a chessboard for this. It's not really about, let's see, I mean, yeah, it's 8 by 8. There's no possible situation where like having above 8 is going to be like, super easy. But having great vision, the non-monotic line, sense tax gets very near sight. We want to do correctly. 7, 5. 2. Actually, it would be 0 to 2. 0 to 2. And then this would be 4 to 6. There we go. Efficient would be 0 to 5, 0 to 7. 0 to 0 to 8. 0 to 8. Farsight has the problem of you have a better. Farsight allows you to see even a little bit further than good vision. The problem is if they get into your blind spot, you're fucked. Like if they're going to get into your blind spot, they're going to find you. They're going to be able to actually deal with it. But hey, they're cheap. So you do actually have like a weird place in these ones, which is 3, where it's like, yeah, you just can't see anything at 3. I mean, unless we bump you up to 3, it would be 0 to 3, 4 to 6, 0 to 5. I mean, yeah, I guess this would be. This would be the most efficient. Senses hearing. Senses hearing. Perception radius. Perception radius. Notamon cannot hear. Perception radius is going to be 2, 3, 5. Yeah, it's going to be 0 to 2. 0 to 2. 0 to 3. 0 to 5. And then bump up echolocations a little bit on par with great vision. There we go. Okay. What the fuck is going on? That again. Why are you? It's a coin considered counterfeit even if it is Mia gold. The fuck are you on about? Like, being honest here, Saul. The fuck are you on about? Okay, this is where things are gonna get a little bit esoteric. So every Notamon, like their creators, are tied to the elemental cycle due to their innate connection to the primal matter, goop. An elemental affinity signifies not only alignment with one of the elements, but also a deeper, but also but also influencing their abilities and skills. It'll also influencing their abilities. To match element action. Notamons primary element. These are broken up. These are broken up into their primary and secondary element. Their primary and secondary element. Primary element is one of the core five. And if I go here, also I added this image just to kind of give everybody like an idea of like, yeah, you're not the heroes in this situation. Let's be perfectly frank with ourselves here. Of the core five, Ethos, Eros, Hydros, Geos, and Pyros. Or Pyros. One of the core five, Ethos, Hydros, Geos, or Pyros. Each being diametrically each being opposed to another one of the element. Each being opposed to one of the other element. Elements in a strict combative nature. Ethos consumes Hydros. Hydros douses Pyros. Pyros ignites Eros. And Eros erodes Geos. And Geos grounds Ethos. There we go. So it's pretty much like kind of a diet. It's Ethos destroys Hydros, Hydros destroys Pyros, Pyros destroys Eros, Eros destroys Geos, Geos destroys Ethos. You know, Ethos consumes Hydros, Hydros douses Pyros, Pyros ignites Eros, erodes Geos, and Geos grounds Ethos. Was exactly what it doesn't want to do. And that's kind of the idea. The secondary element. The secondary element is optional addition. Which actually the secondary element is tied to the primary element. Element and is a pure refinement of its general refinement. These three secondary elements all combat with one another, but also combats with, but also destroys, but also magnifies the combat with one another, but will always stay in combat. Always stay in combat with their primary opposition. So if we go to Miro, why are you logging me out? That's cringe. So if we here, actually, if you want to be really curt, I can just swing down here real fast to the elemental chart, the very cursed element chart. So if we want to be specific, we want to do Athos. Athos is unnatural things, things that are not real. They are going to be fairy. Athos is going to be tied to fairy, ghost, and psychic. Psychic destroy. Actually, probably base it around like this to be precise. Fairy destroys the ghost, ghost destroys the psychic, psychic destroys the fairy. And it's not fucking Pokemon. Technically, if I want to do this correctly, we'll call it Fae. Call it Fae. Pyros. Actually, Eros. Arrows. What is arrows based around? Which we're going to do flying. Flying defeats. We want to be precise. We can go throw in. It's tied with like element of air. What are we really working with here? Give us something to work here. Give me. What is air alchemy? Alchemy. What's so shit? Air. Because if we're doing like hydros, if we, this hydros would be not water, ice, something else, We want to do Geos. I don't know why I keep going back to this idea. I think it's cool, but I also know it's fucking retarded. Again, I can't escape it because I'm a fucking idiot. The fake coin's still considered counterfeit even at a gold. Yes, it is. Pretty much, the idea was that each of the 5 elements kind of has like their own like sub-element with each other that all are kind of competing against one another. That, hey, these competing elements, like, so you could be a Geos creature, but you're a Geos creature with connections to poison, for example. Like, actually, we can do like nature, poison, nature, poison, and dragon or something. By virtue of being a Geos dragon, having that as your type, that fundamentally means that you are going to defeat anything nature focused. But if you're a nature, Geos nature thing, you're going to defeat anything poisonous. By just virtue of being what you are. What we can do, This isn't perfect, but Sky. I mean, I guess. Well, the thing is, like, Pyros needs electric into. Fuck. No. We're just not gonna worry about it, I guess. I don't know. And nothing works, and it's all bad. Everything is shit, and I cannot escape the infinite grid of death. God, I fucking hate Pokemon, and I hate everything associated with Pokemon. Everyone who likes Pokemon deserves the stake. They belong on a cross. Elements with pine. Would steel be? I guess steel. Steel would work, but steel is already kind of weird. Like, it shouldn't be difficult. Like, the idea is there. I just genuinely have no goddamn idea what it wants me to do. And I'm going to just not do it. I'm just going to ignore it. I never have to think about it again. Fire ignites arrows to Geos, and Geos ground. Yes, grounds. Creating crafting a Notamon. A creator may dip in another two additional elements until additional elements tied to their primary. This is the feeding and the this is the feeding and the creating element. Because Athos feeds Eros, Pyros feeds Athos. Athos does not interact really at... Athos does not like Hydros, Athos does not like Geos. So you kind of have to select one of these three. So that's what the... This is the feeding and the create. This is the feeding and the creating element. Adopting additional elements allows moves and attacks to be two different elemental affinities. Key moves and attacks be key to different elemental affinities. But their effectiveness may wane. The primary element will always define the Notamon. There we go. Because like it's one of those things where you get like the Pokemon elements, like element charts. Like this shit's insane. Like, there's a massive amount of different fucking, like, Pokemon elements. And it's like, oh, sorry, I'm an electric type. And this is a dragon type. So electric and dragon type don't do anything with each other. But if you're a bug grass type, you do double damage. But if you're a fire grass type, you do something else stupid. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ almighty. Because you get some which are, like, fighting type. Fighting type is technically a type of Pokemon. I don't know why fighting type is, but it is. That's just something that we just kind of gotta accept. Because haha, hee hee, hoo hoo. we've made a big funny haha moment where I get to die a little on the inside. Solid, you do not get to say a fucking word. I want you to remember that about Pokemon. I want you to remember that forever, by the way. I'm not being mean here, Solid. But I remember. I'll never forget. When crafting a Notamon, primarily define the Notamon. We'll always define the Notamon and their weaknesses. A Notamon. Actually, to counter, we'll always define the Notamon and the weakness, unless a creator willingly strips their Notamon of all elemental bindings, creating a what would be like the creating an empty element. Empty elemental. Carefully. Effectively, as a empty elemental entity, you do not actually possess anything. So you are the neutral. Being neutral has its benefits and its downside. The primary benefit of being an empty means you don't really have to worry about anything like that. So actually what we do is primary element, creating element, it would be the primary element, creating element, then the feeding element, which is going to be empty element. This is going to be goop cost of 10, 0, plus 10. 10. You get everything you need to spend 20, which doesn't seem like a lot, but that's 20 things that you still have to tie to things. That's kind of the catch there. Never forget. Never forgetty. So empty element, primary element, creating element. And side note right here. Side note. Creating a quick reminder. For those who forgot. Athos creates Eros. Eros turns into Hydros. Hydros feeds Geos. Geos promotes Pyros, and Pyros creates, and Pyros burns Burns to create ethos. Burns to create ethos. Therefore the cycle, the elemental cycle is ethos, eros, hydros, geos, pyros, ethos. So when choosing pyros for example as a primary element, the feeding element is geos. The creating element, actually no, the feeding element is ethos. The creating element is geos. Just want to give people a quick kind of like, hey, don't forget about this. Like, you know, when we're doing this, like, do not forget that is kind of how things are set up. Put an image. We slap an image right there. I think that's a little bit easier to understand. Combat abilities. We will worry about combat abilities on Wednesday. Okay. We're gonna worry about combat abilities on Wednesday. We're over halfway through. Generally speaking, like once we hit this section down here, this isn't going to be very complicated. I'm not too worried once we get past all like the little details. I'm not super enthused about some of the bits up here. Like the ideas work. I just need to make sure that they work better because something does not feel right up there, and I can't put my finger on what it is. So I'm gonna call it Notepad Must Die. Generally speaking, the plan is Wednesday we're going to finish off moves. We're going to finish off all the details there. I wanted to do it tonight, but I kind of got a late start. Wednesday we're just going to power through it because we just need to power through it. Friday will probably be a Notepad Must Die to just hammer out every single detail we can. And we'll kind of play it by ear there. Also, I want to know what you're going to do this Saturday. I don't know yet. I don't know. I'll do something. Because that's what I do. That's what I do. Hey, maybe I'll do an Affinity stream. How about that? That'll be fun. Y'all get to watch me just die on the inside and want to kill someone. It'll be funny. As you get to watch my enthusiasm for living just gradually decrease. So, I'm going to call it there. Godspeed. Good luck. How it goes. Wednesday we'll see the video on the Die RPG. I gotta write the script tonight. Write and record the script tonight. I don't think that video is gonna be super long, but yeah. Y'all, I'll see y'all later.